Hello world! In this tutorial we're going to learn how to create an animated sidebar menu. If we're going to click here on the hamburger menu, you can see that the sidebar nicely slides in. And if we're clicking again, which is now an X button, you can see that it goes away. So we can toggle it on and off. We're going to do this using HTML, CSS and a little bit of JavaScript. So let's see how we can build it. Alright, so here we have a CodePen project with just a little bit of CSS to create this image on the body. And we also have a Google font, Roboto, which we're going to use for the nav. That's all the CSS we have now. Let's move to the HTML and create the HTML structure. First, we're going to have a nav with an ID of nav. That's because we want to target it into the JavaScript, so we're using also an ID. Basically, how the animation will take effect is that we're going to toggle on and off a class on the nav, the active class. And then we can push the nav into the view and out of the view. And for that, we're going to use a button with a class of toggle and also an ID of toggle. The same thing. The class will be used to style it and the ID will be used to target it into the JavaScript. And here inside the button we're going to have our font awesome icons. The first one will be F5 bars and the second one, let's put it on an I tag like that, and the second one will be F8 times. Alright, and now let's import font awesome. Font awesome like that. Okay, save. Alright, look at that. Now we have the icons. So the hamburger menu and the X. And now let's create our UL, which will contain the links. UL li times 4. And we're going to have an A tag here. Like that. Which will go nowhere for now. You can link it to whatever website or link you want. This will be home. We'll have about, blog and contact. Alright, that's it for the HTML markup. We can go into the CSS and style everything. First, let's start with the nav. So we want the nav to be a background color white and we want it to be position fixed so we can move it around with a top of 0 and left of 0. Let's give it also a height of 100 viewport heights so we can have it full height. Now let's center the elements inside it with display flex, align item center and justify content center. Perfect. And maybe have a padding. Padding 0 on the top, 30 pixels on the right, 0 on the bottom and 50 pixels on the left. Now let's quickly style the UL and the links. Let's see, nav UL will be padding 0 and list style type none. So we can remove the dots there. Perfect. Next, the nav UL li will have a margin of 40 pixels on top and bottom and 0 on left and right. And the text align right. So we want the links to go here on the right. Perfect. And the nav A, we want to have a color of 111, font size of 24 pixels, text decoration none, and text transform uppercase. Okay, look at that. You might see the font too big here, but that's because I'm zoomed in, so you can see the code. If we're zooming out, you can see that it's pretty normal. Good, let's zoom in back, so we can see the code better. And why not, let's have a hover on the A. Color will be D35400, so an orange color. Alright, like that. So now it looks like a normal menu. We just have to position this button now. We have the toggle because that was the class on the button here. And we want it to be border none, remove the border, and want to position absolute on the top 0 and right 0. So now it will go up there. Perfect. We're going to translate X 100% so it will be pushed outside of the nav. It will basically go from here where it should be pushed 100% of its own width. Alright, let's give it a little style, font size of 20 pixels, and a padding of 10 pixels, 15 pixels. So make it bigger. Okay, by default we want to show only the hamburger icon and we want to hide the close icon. So let's do that. Toggle FA bars. We want to be display block, and FA times we want to be display none. Okay, look at that. We're almost close. Now by default we want this navigation to be hidden. So what we can do, the same we did here, but the reverse. We can do transform translate x minus 100%. So now the entire sidebar will go away. Good. And now we can have a class of active which will push it back. So transform translate x will be 0. Perfect. Now we need to go to the JavaScript and toggle this active class on the nav. This is why we added the IDs. So let's take these IDs, go inside the JavaScript. We'll have const nav and toggle will be document get element by ID, and we're passing in the ID like that. Perfect. Now we're going to add an event listener on the button. On the click, we want to do the following. We want to take the nav and get the class list and toggle the active class. That's all the JavaScript we want. So basically we're targeting the button, we're adding a click event. Every time it's clicked, we're going to toggle the active class on the nav. Let's see how that works. If we're going to click the button, you can see now the menu is opening and closing, which is perfect. We just don't have the animation now. So we're going to go back here on the nav and we're going to add a transition on the transfer property, 0.4 seconds and an ease. So now if we're going to click on the button here, you can see that the menu is sliding. The last thing to do is to change the icons. So we're going back here on the buttons, and now we have the nav bar having the active class. So we can target that. Nav active. And we can use the same selectors. So on the toggle, the FI bars will be display none. And the other way around, on the FA times, so the X icon will be display block. Look at that. Now, if we click the button, it will change the icon. Let's remove that blue outline. Toggle focus will be outline none. Alright, that's it. Now when we're clicking on this button, you can see that the sidebar appears, it slides nicely in, and if we're clicking again, it disappears. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Bye!